religion. I know you have I actually have a unique view on religion, and I just wanted to get your take on just religion as a whole and just kind of how you view it.
Well, I'm definitely pretty much American. I'm a melting pot, right? I don't hold one religion over another religion. I have ones that I've learned from and that I enjoy the teachings of what they have to offer. I was born as a Christian Baptist, and I've always had a relationship with God and Jesus throughout my whole life. At the age of 20, I decided that I was very confused and I wanted to have a better understanding, and I acknowledged through the way my brain was thinking at the time that I'm a Christian Baptist because my mother was, and she brought me to the church, and it's just something that I adopted due to my surroundings. So if I was born in a Muslim nation, then I most likely would have ended up Muslim. If I was born in a Hindu nation, I most likely would have been Hindu. If I was born in a Buddhist nation, I would have been Buddhist, and all these other different sects. And it's common. So why are we so aggressive towards them, as if what they're doing is wrong, especially from a Christian standpoint, and the way the message has come across from the church from time to time growing up as a kid. So I literally prayed, and I said, well, this shouldn't be a surprise to you because you made me and you know me in and out and all this stuff. So I'm just going to have this conversation with you anyways and let you know I'm going to study world religions because I seek you. The Bible says, seek and ye shall find. All I want to find out is the truth, man. I'm sorry that I don't believe my pastor. I'm sorry that it's hard for me to listen to this person and that person. And I'm sorry that the book that you put together for me isn't good enough for me. I'm sorry. But this is what I need to do because my heart and my mind is telling me that this wise man said God is here, and this is God. This person who speaks a whole nother language says this is God, and these people say this is God, and I just want to know you.
How do you know which one's right?
I just want to know you, And I was very young, I was very confused, so I said, bump it. You know my heart. You know all I want is a relationship with you, and that I love Jesus. So I just want to work things out and get a better understanding as a whole. And for me, throughout my research, I got into a little bit more of the history of predating Christianity, getting into Judaism, and then so a little bit of the background that I kind of seek towards listening and following and trying to learning from these wise men and their relationship with God and how they advise us to act as human beings is Christianity, Judaism, Hinduism, and Buddhism, because it's similar, the Tao or the Tao, Taoism, so that's. And another thing that I did, I try to study into the Egyptians a little bit, but with the history, you learn that the Egyptians themselves fell off. Because the Egyptians themselves were one of the first ones to create these dolls and then tell the people that by paying a certain amount, you can go to heaven. You know what I mean? So you got to learn about corruption within a religion. And then even in the Bible, there was always a lot of respect towards Egypt. But then there was a time where even they kind of let you know, Egypt fell off. It's not the same no more. And that's why the plagues fell upon Egypt and all these other things. You know what I'm saying? So it's like truth was there and it was manipulated or forgotten within a matter of time throughout history, right? And then it's interesting too because, the Bible has always talked about false prophets, right? But what you really need to be worried about is not false prophets coming from outside religions, but false prophets within your own religion, within your own doctrine. You know, there's false prophets, and that happens a lot. And so when studying Hinduism, I came across the term that some people know, guru, right? Guru, some people see guru as a teacher. And, you know, Jesus was known to be a teacher. So from that sense, like how in Japan, teacher is a sensei, you know, and sensei is looked at as teacher or master, you know, hand in hand. And Jesus was referred to as master, Lord, teacher, many different names, many different titles, you know. And so, and guru meaning teacher, but what kind of teacher, right? So guru's actual word translation by definition is he who takes you from darkness and brings you into the light. Okay, that's what a guru is. The one that takes you out of the darkness, which darkness is an ignorant way of thinking. Because Buddha said that most problems human beings have, they cause from themselves because we have wrong thoughts, wrong behavior. It's all about having the right thoughts, the right views, and the right actions. And then you get the right result, you know? So the guru takes you from the darkness, from your ignorant state of mind, into what they call an enlightened state, you know, a blissful state. So the funny thing is, nobody can take you out of the darkness into the light if they do not live in the light. So anybody who's trying to teach you how to come into the light, who does not already bathe in the light, is a false prophet. Okay? Because Jesus said, when the blind lead the blind, they both fall into a pit. Okay? So that's the outcome of working with false prophets, is that you do not get to actually know God. It's easy to believe in God. But the ultimate goal of what Jesus was trying to teach people was not to just believe in God, but to know God within your mortal life. To know, to attain heaven on earth, to attain a blissful state. So, I mean, I'm 28 now. I got into the studying of these things when I was 20. I studied diligently for a year or two, and then I found myself going pretty deep in the rabbit hole. I started to hit the brakes a little bit because you start to lose yourself in a sense to where you don't have an ego-based lifestyle, right? And it's hard to function in this kind of society like that, you know? And I just wanted to pull back because I didn't have a teacher. All my teachers were the knowledge that I was reading, you know, and whoever wrote this book and stuff. And it made me feel less a little crazy because things that were happening to me in meditation were being talked about in these books, but I had nobody to have these one-on-one conversations with, and I wasn't being guided. So I told myself, until you're ready to get fully guided, you should just slow roll it, you know, or pull back a little bit, because I had a shocking experience where the I became all things. And I've heard other people in seminars talk about it a little bit, which helped me realize that I didn't go crazy or anything. But within this vessel, there is something that is not materialistic. And for some reason, it is the source of all things that is materialistic, right? Jesus said, I and my Father are one. Amongst whom he made that statement to, they said blasphemy. And then he said, how is it blasphemy when your own scripture says ye are gods? If I am my Father's son, and if my Father is he who arts in heaven, then I am a heavenly being. So it's the thing about, for me, what I've learned and studied is that we humans are not living up to our full potential. You know, that ultimately there's a war of good and evil, and God being the creator, or or just creative, universal creative energy, however you want to address it. But there's a source of creation, an intelligent source of creation. And to be a creator at all, when somebody created that camera, you're using the camera the way it was designed to be used for video purposes. It's not a paperweight.
True.
You know what I'm saying? It's not a paperweight. It's not a plunger, right? So there's nothing on this planet. You know how the old saying, doesn't matter who talks about it, but as above, so below. Or the whole heaven on earth. At the end of the day, there's not one thing that was created that doesn't hold its purpose. You know what I mean? Salt shaker, pepper shakers.
Yep.
Made to hold a substance so you can shake out the substance and utilize it within a meal. You know what I mean? There's not one thing. Squeeze this. A straw. A straw holds its purpose. Somebody created it, created a purpose for it. It gets utilized for that purpose. Because we were granted freedom, we're a special species that does not utilize their purpose. And this is what I've come to believe, is that ultimately, if the Creator had a master plan, and the master plan is to give us freedom, but through our own freedom, we choose to do what we were intended and created to do. But He wanted to give us the free will of coming to seek that out for ourselves, right? To me, God is always with you. So in your heart, if you're not with God, that's you. That's your life, you know. But God is always with you. So it's like a shadow, right? When the room is all dark, is your shadow there?
I mean, technically, yeah.
I mean, it's weird. You know, they would say like no or yes or whatever, but at the end of the day, to me, God is the shadow that never disappears. In the day, in the night, when you sin, or when you behave properly, He's always there. You know? Are you there acknowledging Him? Do you walk? It's because imagine every step He's taking one step behind you. Like He's following you, right? Do you ever turn around and acknowledge Him? For He's always looking forward, acknowledging you. But do you ever turn around and acknowledge Him? You know? And to me, that's what like practices like prayer and meditation are, is going within and giving yourself a time period of the day to acknowledge the Spirit, which is the cause and the reason of why your heart is beating, while you're not thinking, why you have to forcefully use your consciousness to stop breathing, because God is the giver of life. He gives life. The ant has life. The bird has life. You know, sponges in the ocean have life. A lot of substances have life. Where does life come from? It comes from an energy source that cannot be measured. You cannot cognitively understand it. You can kind of try to put it into words, but it's beyond anything that you will be able to try to box it into.